In this episode, we explore Monument Valley,
The Four Corners Monument,
ancient cliff dwellings,
a steam train ride through the Colorado Rockies.
and a Colorado Rockies mining town.
Welcome to Quokka's on Tour.
We chose to leave our accommodation at the Grand Canyon National Park nice and early so that we could catch the sunrise at the Desert View Lookout.
For more information on our travels at the Grand Canyon National Park, check out our previous video. We'll put a link here for you. The drive to Monument Valley will take you approximately 4 to 4.5 hours from the Grand Canyon National Park Visitor Centre. The roads are good, they're wide, and there's plenty of places where you can stop and refuel and get supplies along the way.
Monument Valley stretches between the state borders of Arizona and Utah, and as it's in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have to decide if you're going to drive through or if you're going to stay.
If you're going to overnight in the Monument Valley area, there's a couple of options nearby on Navajo land, or you could continue on to the nearby towns of Bluff, Mexican Hat, or Kayenta.
Or you could do what we did and continue on to your next destination. We chose to drive to the Colorado town of Durango, which was about 3 hours drive.
If you have a vehicle which is suitable for driving over rough terrain and sand dunes, which we didn't on this occasion, you could take the 27-kilometre or 17-mile loop, which will take you about as close as you can get to the monoliths.
Overall, we suggest about an hour of time to take photos, video, and see what you like. We've heard that the Navajo tour was really good, but we didn't get a chance this time, just with timings.
Yeah, we just ran out of time. On your drive through Monument Valley, as a tourist, the parts that we really want to see are in an area of only 13 square kilometres or 5 square miles. And that's where we'll see the famous sandstone buttes that stretch up to 300 metres above the valley floor.
The best views can be seen from the visitor centre or the View Hotel and Campgrounds, hence the name. It's also where you meet your Navajo tour guides to go on a tour of the lands. But along the way, there's plenty of viewpoints, vehicle turnouts, and you'll be able to get that magic photo or do your best Forrest Gump impersonation.
It's got to be done.
Hours.
So after we left Monument Valley, we decided to take a little bit of a detour to the Four Corners Monument. Now that's about an hour's drive. The detour wasn't really on the Google Maps because there's no signal out there, so you don't have Google Maps. So make sure you download those before you go.
Unless you're just going to wing it. Now, the Four Corners Monument is the only place in the United States where 4 states intersect at one point in time. You have the states of Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico, all intersecting right at that one point. And they've made a little monument there for it. If you're not aware of it, you might want to check out, if you haven't done so already, the Ed Helms version of Vacation. There's a little scene in there which is pretty funny where they try to be in all 4 states at once.
So we decided we'd give it a bit of a go, just being in the 4 states, not reenacting the movie.
So the Four Corners Monument is a brass plaque which stretches across all 4 state lines, all at the one point in time. It's quite cool. You can have your photo taken and so on. But it is on Navajo land, and there is a small entry fee of $8 per person to enter.
So surrounding the monument is a large market square where the Navajo people have their crafts and different stalls that you can attend any day except Sunday.
It's not exactly a place where you're going to spend a lot of time, but to get out and check some of those local crafts out, maybe buy yourself a souvenir or two, and at the end of the day, maybe just stretch the legs before you go on to the next part of your journey.
And it's a bit quirky. So from there, we drove about an hour into the state of Colorado to the town of Cortez, then out the other side and up to the Mesa Verde National Park. Now, the Mesa Verde National Park is a UNESCO heritage listed site, and as it's a national park, you do have to pay an entry fee. Bit of an insider tip. If you are going to more than 2 national parks, then it's a really good idea to get an annual park pass so that you can use that for entry into the national parks.
Once you get to the park entrance at Mesa Verde, that's when kind of everything starts to change for you, because the mesas are at 7,000 to 8,000 feet. So the drive up is part of the whole experience itself. There's plenty of switchbacks and some decent winding roads. And for those of us from Australia, where we're operating on the opposite side of the road in the vehicle, there's some pretty decent drop-offs there.
With no railing.
Once you get to the top, there's good roads and plenty of areas for you to park up so that you can enjoy the views that you're going to see. Nestled into the side of the cliffs, or mesas, are up to 600 dwellings built by the Ancestro Pueblo people. These structures consisted of things such as pueblos, pit houses, masonry towers, and other farming structures, all built into the natural alcoves of the cliffs, mostly out of the weather.
There's some really good points that you can go to view some of these, but lots of them are out of view. So the best way to see them is through a ranger tour, which you can book on their website of the national park. Unfortunately, we missed out on this because we were just there too late, but it looks like an amazing thing to do.
Yeah, we could see the tour actually happening whilst we were at Cliff Palace kind of filming some of this video.
So after a long day of driving and sightseeing, we made the 45-minute trek from Mesa Verde to the regional city of Durango, which is on the Animas River, nestled in the San Juan Mountains, which is part of the Rocky Mountains. And it was set up to service the nearby mining districts.
Today, Durango is a cute small city with plenty of shopping, dining, entertainment type things, all of those things you can expect for in a small city. And on top of that, it's got plenty of accommodation to service the area for all of the tourist type activities, such as anything from fishing, hiking, mountain biking, and of course, ski slopes.
And it is also the home of the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railway.
The narrow gauge of the railway was originally chosen due to the steep climb, and it was going to be more suitable. Plus, on top of that, it was considerably cheaper to build.
So you can choose to go from Durango to Silverton just about every day of the year. The trip will take you about 3 hours on the way up and then spend a bit of time in Silverton, and you can choose to either catch the train back or a bus as an alternative. You could also go the Cascade Canyon route, which is a half-day version as well.
We chose to come back on the bus so that we could, first of all, see a different part of the mountains. And on top of that, it was quicker.
And it meant that Craig could fall asleep while I looked out the window as usual. So our train was due to depart at 9 a.m. So after breakfast, we headed along to the first class Almorosa parlour car, which is at the back of the train. There was a great little bar in there. So we were given a muffin for morning tea. We could have non-alcoholic beverages as much as we liked. And we could also access the bar and have some cocktails or beer or whatever we chose. We were also given a souvenir mug and a tour book and a nice little tote bag.
So our journey starts off mostly going through a residential area. There's some quite cute houses along the river as we travel along. There's about 5 river crossings as we head up the mountains, heading towards our destination. And then as we progress along, we head further up through the mountains, past lakes, through the bottom part of gorges, then even right over the top of the canyons into the gorges themselves, all the way up to around about close on to 14,000 feet as we eventually head up to the mountain town of Silverton.
You also get to see a few things along the way, like the scene from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So after our 3-hour trip, we arrive into the old mining town of Silverton, which now wholly relies on the tourism from the railway and from the nearby $1 Million Highway. This is the name of the local Interstate 550, and it was named that because it's the stretch from Silverton to Ouray, which when it was built in the 1930s was a cost of $1 million per mile.
On your arrival into Silverton on the train, your guide should give you 2 important tips, but if they don't, we've got you covered. We'll give them to you here right now. The first one is when you get off the train, don't hesitate. Head straight to a venue and get yourself some lunch. The problem is that the places will either get really long lines or they may even sell out of food or clothes before you happen to get back on the train. As fans of barbecue and also the Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives program with Guy Fieri, we chose his recommendation of the barbecue restaurant, The Pits, and that's where we headed straight to. The Pits has got inside and outside dining, and it's got a good selection of barbecue meats and sides and local beers and craft beers. So we chose that one, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
On top of that, there's quite a few other options, including the iconic Natalia's, which has been established well over 100 years ago, opening in 1912, which has got your classic American fare. But once again, just don't delay, otherwise you're probably going to miss out on lunch.
So the second tip is that the train and the bus both depart at 2 p.m. Not 2:01, 2 p.m. So make sure you get yourself back to the area to depart well before then, and make sure you know if you're going on the bus, which bus you're actually going on. They will have your name there, so get it ticked off.
If not, they will actually leave you behind. So as we mentioned earlier, we took the bus back. You can take the train, you can take the bus, or you've obviously got other options as well if you've taken your own private vehicle, but that's what worked for us. We knew that it was going to be a faster trip on the bus or the coach, and on top of that, it gave us a different view down the opposite side of the mountain.
Yep, well, gave me a different view. You were too busy looking at your eyelids.
Some of us needed to sleep. And on top of that, we had a football game we needed to watch later in the day.
That's right. So that brings us to the end of our road trip from the Grand Canyon National Park through Monument Valley to the Four Corners Monument, Mesa Verde, and finally Durango and Silverton.
So once again, if you like what we're doing and you want to see more of it, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and we'll see you all on our next adventure.
See ya.
The parts and areas that people really want to see as tourists are in an area of only 13 square kilometres or 5 square miles.
And I'm just blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try again because that was shit.
People. These consist of things like pit houses, something, and something else.
Yeah.
And probably some other things as well, but I can't remember it.
Oh dear. We also could access the bar as well and try out some of the libations there. We also had were given a tour. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh my goodness.